Hello and welcome back to another Warlords of Draenor video. This time we're going to be talking about Frostfire Ridge and specifically my first impressions of it from a second-hand perspective. Now you're probably just thinking, hey you unqualified arsehole, how the hell can you talk about that when you haven't actually got into the alpha yourself? Well, you have a point, but I've watched streams. I've watched lots of streams in fact. Basically the last 2 days has been spent on Kelrick's stream, Hobbs' stream, and then a little bit on the Fat Boss and Final Boss streams. So I've basically seen, I wouldn't say the majority of the zone, but I've seen a lot of it. And first of all, let's talk about the actual quests of the place. The words brutal and savage really come to mind, actually. Story-wise, you're doing plenty of darkish things, you know, you're killing stuff, there's large wars happening, lots of things are dying, just about everywhere. And it seemed to really convey this great sense of a struggle with the Frostwolf orcs. Now, I'm not going to go into spoilers, but as everyone probably knows, the main storyline of that zone is the Frostwolves just trying to deal with all the local threats like the ogres, and then I think there's some other clan of orcs who are kind of going in, rustling up Durotan's business. So, you fight along with them, you're basically Durotan's lackey, which is cool because he seems like a pretty decent chap, and yeah, he gives you a garrison, you fight orcs and things like that. But overall, just the tone of the story, from what I've seen of the quest text as well, it just feels a little bit more dark and savage and that kind of thing. It doesn't look like something that would happen in Mists of Pandaria. You know, it's weird, I was recently leveling my rogue through Northrend, and immediately in Northrend, you're kind of doing darkish stuff, you know, you're killing a lot of things. That quest when you need to sort of go down to the place in Iceground and put the Alliance soldiers out of their misery, or perhaps taking the soldiers down from the harpoons in the Howling Fjord. Things like that are kind of, well, they've been missing from World of Warcraft. We've been too busy with pandas and, you know, laughing about beer and things. Whereas now it definitely seems like, at least for this zone, they're going to be upping the ante in terms of the actual sort of character and plot implications of what you're doing. And on a more, well, not a human level, obviously, because this is all dealing with orcs, but it seems to do that. And honestly, from what I've seen of Shadowmoon Valley quests, they are doing a similar thing with the Draenei. Honestly, it seems a lot better from a plot perspective, and that's definitely got me very excited. In terms of quest mechanics, it doesn't look like there's a great deal new and like as far as what you actually do as a character. However, some quests have things like bonus objectives, so they may ask you to go to a place and you know, right-click on a sentry totem, whatever. But then you'd have sub-objectives, and if you complete them, perhaps you get a better reward or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounds like a nice system that gives people more freedom and flexibility. Though overall for quests, I would absolutely prefer it if Blizzard would move to a percentage-based system rather than a numbers-based one. A good example is in Wildstar. Your quest will just tell you to kill a mob X in a certain area, and you'll go there, and instead of just killing 10 of them, you'll just see a percentage. You know, that denotes your progress. And one nice thing about that is that you can have multiple different things, you know, contribute to a quest's completion instead of just killing the one mob, but it also is a suitable level of abstraction so that people aren't just sort of ground down by the numbers of it all. Anyway, quests do seem quite good. But the main thing about the zone that has me impressed is just the aesthetic. This is looking like one of my favorite zones just purely on the visuals. I think it looks damn fantastic. So first of all, it should be said, I like snowy places in general, and this reminds me of some of the absolutely crazy stuff that I saw in Iceland, and where you do have like kind of basalt and like pillar thingies and you know, volcanic terrain and hot springs and all that stuff. So there's definitely a little bit of, I guess, a personal element for Frostfire Ridge with me. But still, I think it is looking absolutely amazing. You can see in the flyover footage, which by the way is courtesy of Wowhead. Just the reason I'm putting this video is, yeah, it's still World of Warcraft content. You know, technically it belongs to Blizzard, so it's cool with me using it. But yeah, go check out their YouTube channel. Anyway, so just look at that footage. I think the zone's looking amazing. I love all the stone architecture of the orcs, especially some of those Stonehenge-style pillar structures. I think they look particularly cool, and overall it's definitely got its own nice little aesthetic going on. You'll also maybe see some Horde, maybe Iron Horde, settlements where they've kind of got big ass like iron towers with spikes and stuff. That's looking fantastic. But even without the structures, just the snow looks really cool. I love the sort of painted on like texturing on the snow, which, or not texturing, I'm shadowing on the snow, which sort of just gives it this nice definition, which I really do appreciate. And then also the giant spires, and overall the zone is really just a spectacle to look at. Plus the fire, the lava, you know, when there is fire in this zone, it's looking very cool. And then buildings-wise, the giant ogre place, which I believe gets turned into the main Horde city for the expansion, is pretty damn awesome as well. If you just look at that thing, it's humongous. It was actually, I think it was Hobbs. It was either when I was watching Hobbs' stream, or maybe it was when Kelric and Hobbs were on a Skype call with each other, but he was going around this giant big building, and he was just talking about how it was one of the most impressive structures he'd seen in World of Warcraft so far. And I've got to say, at least from my second-hand perspective, I concur. You know, things really are looking very good for Frostfire Ridge. And that's really all that I can say. You know, it looks great, the quests are great, and from what I've gathered, I'm just listening to various streamers, most people have said that, bar the obvious alpha-related disconnections and stuff like that, they have been just finding the zone to be extremely enjoyable. I especially heard people say that it was far and away superior to the Jade Forest. Now, personally, I think the Jade Forest is a complete heap of crap, so Frostfire Ridge would have to be better than it. But the good news is that it is, and it seems like it is by a considerable margin. So there's also some things in it like cinematics and you know, the usual kind of guff that we have come to expect, though it's not all finished in the alpha, so I can't comment on those. I can't comment on voice acting because I'm pretty sure a decent amount, if not all of it, is missing, and so that's important. And Blizzard, look, for voice acting, sometimes they squander talent and, you know, they fall prey to poor writing and bad direction, but from what I could tell, the writing was at least, you know, nothing was atrocious, and they have been getting a lot better with their voice talent in recent times, especially with the orcs. I forget the name of the guy who does the orcs, someone will remind me in the comments. He also played Arthas, actually, but he's a very good voice actor, actually. He really nails the orcs, so hopefully they have him doing a few just, like, orc NPCs and stuff like that, because I think he could really just bring some of the rage to it. If you just hear Garrosh, I actually think Garrosh's voice acting was very good. And yeah, I think that's really about it for my thoughts of the Frostfire Ridge. Basically, it sounds pretty damn awesome. Another thing that I probably should have mentioned earlier is that the garrisons are actually heavily involved with the quest flow. In fact, the second quest you do in the zone is what makes your garrison. Now, do bear in mind, you will have had the Tanan jungle starting experience before you get here, but you are right away getting your garrison, and you're constantly going back to it to check up on your forces, to send people off to do missions and that kind of thing. It really is very heavily integrated, but from what I could tell on streams, you know, opinions were actually quite positive about the whole thing. However, I'll, of course, just have to, you know, wait and do it myself. Anyway, so that is basically it for this short little video. Now, I'm not in the alpha yet. Look, I'm working on it. If anyone... Yeah, look, I'm working on it. I'll get in to the alpha, I'm pretty sure. It's just a matter of when and what wave. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes on. The alpha testing itself is only on Frostfire Ridge, and it's only for a few features of the game. So you're not going to get, like, heroic dungeons, you're not going to get past level 92 or 93, all those different things. The alpha will be rolled out over time to more zones and features, and hopefully by that time I'll be in and able to give you guys the coverage that you deserve, because it's what I like doing, because, you know, reasons and stuff. So that's it for the video. Let me know what you so far think. Have you been watching streams? If so, whose streams have you been watching? Be sure to check out twitch.tv and, you know, my channel for all those things. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.